Breaking news we are following in New York City. Live pictures here. A car struck several people just a short time ago in Times Square. People were on the sidewalk, and witnesses say at least 10 people, by their count, are receiving treatment. Reuters is now reporting, this just in, that one person has actually died. The live picture here, I'm not sure if you can see it, but a car was up on two wheels, and police are trying to keep that intersection clear. There's the photo that was sent out on a tweet just a little bit after 9 o'clock. This happened, again, noontime there in New York City, right near Broadway and West 45th.
And to bring you information from the scene here live, we welcome on the phone Rob Eikel, a member of our KTVU family, if you will. Rob, you're from here in the Bay Area. You just went to New York yesterday. You saw it all happen. Describe what you saw.
Yeah, thank you. So I was standing in the front of our Levi Strauss store, and the doors were open, and I heard a bunch of people screaming, and then I saw a bunch of people run past the door, and then right behind them was a burgundy car that was flooring it. I mean, this guy was going probably 50 miles an hour. I mean, he was flying. He mowed over, unfortunately, he ran over a woman in front of me, another woman in the intersection, and then he kept going, and then I saw him get another 2 blocks before he collided with something, some barrier where it launched his car up into the air. And I left the store and walked down there, and there were just bodies all over the sidewalk. I mean, it was pretty grisly.
Rob, did you happen to get a look at the driver? Was it a man or a woman? And I know it's hard. Is a man, and do you see any intent, or was he passed out? Was he awake? What was going on there?
Yeah, so I walked down there right when they were bringing the suspect. They caught him. I've got video of him. I don't know if it's uploaded yet, but it was a dark-skinned male, mid-30s, didn't have a shirt on. He didn't look drunk. Of course, he had like 8 police officers kind of holding him down, but definitely it looked intentional, but I can't really speak to that.
So, Rob, that person is in custody. Law enforcement has him in cuffs, and he's in a patrol vehicle?
That's correct. So I got video that should be uploading where they're loading him into the back of a squad car.
What about, as we give a live picture to our viewers right now, what about the scene and the businesses? Is there like a lockdown situation in case there's, the potential of another vehicle going through the area?
So the police, sorry for the noise. So the police have shut down Times Square. I just got forced evacuated out of the shop I was doing an audit for. But they are turning around everybody. All the businesses are closed down. You can't get up there. So everyone's basically evacuated from Times Square.
Now, Rob, is it a sense of panic? Is it a sense of calm now that someone is in custody? What are you feeling from your fellow citizens there in Times Square?
Yeah, there's definitely there's quite a few people that didn't witness it, and they're kind of oblivious to what's going on. But there's quite a lot of people that are still in shock. You see people that are visibly upset or sick. So you've got kind of a mixture of a lot of people that witnessed it, that, it definitely is not something they wanted to see today, and a lot of people that are just kind of walking into it. So,
Rob, Times Square is always has a large police presence. I imagine that almost as soon as you saw this happen, you heard sirens.
Yeah, I mean, there was police were here immediately, and the police presence was massive. I mean, there were just a ton of police all over the place, and they pushed everyone back. They handled the scene, the situation, very professionally. As they've obviously been through this before, or something similar, and they know exactly how to control a situation like this.
Since you were right there as this was happening, before probably even some of the first responders arrived, ambulances, etc., did you see just people helping those who were injured and rushing to their aid?
Yeah, I saw quite a few people, quite a lot of good Samaritans rushing to the people that had been injured by the car. I saw, of course, quite a few people just whipping out their cell phones and taking video. And then, but definitely there was a lot of brotherhood and camaraderie that came together where people were rushing in to help out those that had been, hit by the car.
We're showing pictures right now, Rob, just so you know, video of a maroon car like the one you described, sort of up on two wheels on its side. Some investigators kind of opening doors, poking around. That whole car is roped off by yellow police tape. So clearly it's an active scene here in New York's Times Square. Thank you so much, Rob Eikel, for joining us on the phone here for live coverage from Times Square. Rob, we'll let you go. We'll mention again, he's a member of the KTVU family in New York on business. He saw everything that happened. To recap again here, as many as 10 people believed to be hit and injured by a speeding car that came up on the sidewalk and hit pedestrians in New York's Times Square. Reuters is reporting at least one person is dead. We've certainly been seeing on Twitter, Mike and Sal, chaos, concern, many people wanting to know what exactly happened.
Yeah, and as we heard Rob say, this vehicle, from his perspective, was going about 50 miles an hour. So, I mean, put yourself in, you know, a Union Square in San Francisco and think about how fast 50 miles an hour.
You can't get out of the way of something like that.
You know, but in Times Square, what are those things called, Sal?
They're called bollard posts.
So
and they use them in, you know, as barriers to keep cars. Those posts there, they're called bollard posts, and they're all over the place to keep cars, you know, from certain areas in case this happens. And it looks like the bollard post did its job.
All right. We'll continue to follow the breaking news there in New York City, and we'll be right back after the break.